In the same way that streamers use games as a means to trick kids out of their weekly allowance, I use game reviews as a way to whine about the gaming industry. And there are so many angles to choose from when it comes to Max Payne 3. We have a popular franchise that has been abandoned for 10 years, a combat system never replicated since. We have the obvious stagnation where a game this old still looks great and outclasses most games on the market. We have a game launcher that I wrote a negative review about 8 years ago that still causes people problems today. But there is also a game underneath. A game that I didn't intend to replay to completion, but after playing a couple of chapters, I found myself having fun and I played through the whole game. Truly a change of pace compared to most things that I play. Max Payne 3 is a third-person shooter where you play as Max Payne. The connection to the first two games are slim at best, and the only thing you really need to know is that Max Payne is a drunk ex-cop with a tragic backstory who gets recruited to be a bodyguard in Brazil.
Look at me, I'm standing in a nightclub, listening to music I can't stand. I'm 5,000 miles from home, I'm armed and I'm drinking. You don't want to listen to advice from me, amigo.
Oh, Max, I love you, man. You're fucking real, you know?
People start to get kidnapped, and it is up to our half-drunk bodyguard to save the day. The story is fairly mediocre, and everyone besides Max and his partner Passos are underdeveloped and forgettable. Max also have a massive plot armor, and it starts to become a bit silly after a while.
Why don't you just shoot him now? I mean, I'll go get a gun, we'll shoot him together. It'll be fun. Bang! Dead. Done.
High production values along with good dialogue, and Max, being in general funny and likable, still saves the plot to some degree.
I had a hole in my second favorite drinking arm, and the only way we were likely to get Fabiana back now was in installments.
But I didn't find it as memorable as the plot in the first two games. Presentation-wise, the game still looks good today. There are some environments that look a bit old, but they are destructible in a way that puts many modern games to shame. The animation quality still holds up as well, and what you end up with is a game that might not have the prettiest screenshots, but looks very good in motion. Looking back at the archives, the Max Payne series is one of the franchises I replay the most. But often it is the first two games that I end up replaying. One reason is probably the traumatic experience I had with the Rockstar launcher, but another reason is most likely how hand-holdy and cutscene the game is in the beginning. This is a problem throughout the game, and Max Payne 3 to a large extent follows the formula of cutscene shootout, cutscene shootout, cutscene shootout, and on it goes, which becomes stale. But in the beginning in particular, the cutscenes are longer and the shootouts are shorter, and it becomes really annoying when you don't have any long period of uninterrupted gameplay. This is truly the biggest issue I have with this game. Sure, there are nitpicks, The turret sections feels out of place. The lack of grenades is annoying. Big guys with machine guns is always annoying, and how they have implemented laser sights are just a pain. The camera can also sometimes be annoying, and it can feel frustrating when the gun doesn't aim where your target is. But all of these things can't take away that the core gameplay is just very solid. Gunplay feels great, enemy AI is good, and the movement and slow motion is just a joy to play around with. Looking back at this game 10 years later, there is nothing that matches it, and I find this depressing. The closest that you have is Red Dead Redemption 2, which clearly reuses some of the infrastructure, but it is not the same without the movement, and cowboys aren't gangsters. In a healthy industry, Ubisoft or EA or some other company would have their own third-person shooter game, raising the bar and competing, but we don't. And that is the issue today, that the companies with the resources have no ambition to do anything else than milking a couple of old franchises and some half-hearted attempt to follow the latest trends. And don't even bring up indies. They don't have the resources to even compete with Max Payne 1, and that came out 20 years ago. And yes, I am aware of the remake announcement, but when are those coming out? 5 years from now? 15 years for a remake? That sure sounds healthy for a growing future industry. But it is what it is, and I am done with being negative. I would certainly recommend Max Payne 3. It's a really fun game, despite how much cutscenes it has.